Let's move over from the tennis courts to the gridiron. The Huntsville Rockets responding to their sloppy win over Tri-City with a 46-0 victory against the Knights of Magnolia State. This weekend, the competition really cranked up as North Alabama rival River City came to town. The Rockets and the Pythons, they played some close games in the past, but this one really wasn't that close. Python striker Ross McKenzie caps off a long drive with this short TD plunge as he stretches for the goal line right here. He puts the Pythons up 6-0. After a 3-and-out by Huntsville, Pythons in the red zone again. Rashad Louis with the fade route to Darian Clark. He gets the grab. Two-point conversion was good, 14-0. The Huntsville offense, they just had so many problems. The high snap over Cam Benefield's head. Pythons recover. Rockets got close, though, later on. They're in the red zone, but Larry Good would cough up the ball as he is stripped. Max Square takes it all the way back deep into Rockets territory. The Pythons would have a 14-0 lead at the break. Now in the second half, the Rockets just looking for some sort of spark as the Pythons are passing, but Louis' pass is intercepted by Jamarius Chandler. And look, this guy really could fly. He's trying to get behind his blocks, but he gets tripped up right there. He just needed one more block to take it to the house. Unfortunately, nothing came out of that. Then here you go. The Pythons put the game on ice. Louis throws a dart in the back of the end zone right there to his man, and his man is Josh Smith for another touchdown. And that's your ball game, everyone. Pythons come into Madison and beat the Rockets 21-0 via shutout. Coach Benjamin wasn't pleased with the performance of his team last night.
It's something that we got to go back and look at. Hey, go back to the drawing board. It's still early in the season. It's a young season. I still believe in my guys just like I think they believe in themselves. So we'll go back to the drawing board and we'll fix some things. We'll be right back in it.